Welcome to Post-Game Gossip, where nothing goes unsaid and nothing is off limits. This is your backstage pass to the unfiltered, behind-the-scenes conversations. From wild dating disasters to jaw-dropping relationship revelations, we're diving deep into the raw truth about love, lust, and everything in between. It's like your favorite locker room chat, but for your love life. The drama, the laughs, the lessons, it's all happening right here. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Welcome to Post-Game Gossip. Tara, welcome to Post-Game Gossip. How we doing, girl?
Hey, so happy to be here.
I know. I'm so excited to have you. It's been a while. We've been talking about this for a long time, and finally we're here. Two of the unhinged girls finally together. So, how have you been?
You know, I've been pretty good. I can't complain. The sun has been shining. People have been out. Smiles on people's faces. We love it.
There you go. Berlin lifestyle. Talk to me a little bit about your last weekend. I mean, you texted me, you said you went out, you go out at like Saturday or during the day, right? At 7 a.m.?
No, so normally it kind of depends on where I'm going out. Like if it's a friend doing an event or something, it's not normally the same schedule, but depending on where I'm going, if it's a Saturday night opening, I'll normally go around like 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning, and then, just dance it out all day and come back, eat some dinner, and be nice, well rested for my next Monday.
Actually hilarious. Because going out with you, I can definitely just see you just vibing out by yourself during the day, having some food and just relaxing. But I don't think there's any other place other than Berlin that you can be doing that.
No, I mean, I think that's why people like to come out and party. And Berlin is the club scene definitely has a lot longer and different hours than most other places. I mean, especially coming from the States where it's like 2 o'clock in the morning that every party is starting or stopping except for in a couple of places. So yeah, it's a way different experience for sure.
I was super surprised at that actually the first time going out in the States, 2:30 lights go on too. Like there's no slowing into it. It's just 2:30 lights are on.
Yep, can't even go buy a beer at the gas station or anything.
Yeah, no after party supported here. We're going to talk a little bit about a couple of big topics. So, signs of toxicity and some red and green flags. I mean, what's the first thing that you notice when you're going into relationships? So when you're going on dates and all that, what's some of the things that you're looking for in a guy right now?
I mean, I think in general, it's just like a basic level of common decency. Like a lot of men don't even really have that. Like I want somebody who's going to like respect my time and have some sort of interest in like getting to know me actually. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, finding a baseline these days, that's just that. It's kind of hard. So
it's so funny that that's like the basic that we've gotten to. It's just, you just have to give me time and we're starting this dating phase.
Yeah. Like just communicate, give me some time, like just be real with me. That's it, honestly.
Yeah. But if you're in a bar and you're kind of, dancing it out like I know you, and you see someone attractive, like what's something that catches your eye on someone?
For me, honestly, it's like, this sounds really lame, but it is an energy, like the kind of like confidence that somebody comes in with. Like, I don't want somebody who's like coming in all that, but like, I want somebody who's like feeling confident and like, hey, like I have an interest in you and like, what's up with you,
Yeah.
And then like, if that energy isn't returned, then, everything's good, like have a good night and that's that. And if it is, then hey, but
yeah,
I mean,
a fine line between cocky and confidence too, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think especially in comparison to online dating, I would say I'm definitely more visual with online dating because that's just how it is. Like if I have the option to like, I don't have anything to go off of this person, and let's face it, most people's like profiles are really not great. You don't get a lot out of it. So like for me on social media and like dating apps, it's a lot more about looks, if I'm being honest. Like I am a lot more judgy on that. But when I'm meeting somebody in person, it's a lot easier for me to like talk to somebody or be interested in somebody who wouldn't normally be my type because I like whatever, they're offering me in that moment. So
yeah. No, I definitely feel that for sure. What are some red flags that you look at? So you're getting into a relationship. Let's say you've been talking to someone for 3 months and they're broken out. Red flag. You feel like you notice that in the moment, or do you think you put your blinding goggles on?
I mean, I think it kind of depends. And I think sometimes you don't really notice it until a while after either because people, I mean, you are putting your best foot forward when you're initially going in, or you should be. Most people are like, you're kind of, you want to give off like a version of yourself that somebody would be more interested in getting to know. Not
Right.
everybody wants to come out with like their deepest, darkest, like, here's all of the bad shit about me. Like, like nobody would go out on a first or second date with you after that, or most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
You do kind of have to like have this presentation of yourself initially where it's like, hey, here are some things that we can connect on. It's like a little bit more base level. So it's, you can only go so deep sometimes on a first date. Sometimes you have some where you can go a lot deeper very quicker. Most of the time it's a little bit surface level and just like seeing if you even have a connection at
Yeah.
first.
It would be a
So
little scary if you unleash everything on the first date. He's like, yeah, that's hot. It's
I
like, I'll
mean, I'm
take
not
that.
gonna lie, I've definitely done that before, but it was because we were already getting in, like, like we were having conversation where he was prompting and asking questions that,
Okay, yeah.
you know what I mean? It wasn't just like, here it all is. Like,
But I think there's a difference too, right? If you're trying to date that person or if you're just having fun or like whatever phase you're getting into, I feel like
yeah,
it's very different. You might not want to fully unleash if you're actually trying to date the guy seriously. But if it's just for fun, then it's like, all right, here's my true colors.
no, exactly. So, yeah, I definitely think that, it's a little bit harder to see red flags, I think, when you're first going out on dates with somebody, unless somebody's really just like has some big red flags that are hard to miss.
Yeah.
I think generally one of my biggest things is like a lack of concern for my own time. Like
Yeah.
it's not even like being late or something, but I think in general, especially dating in Berlin a lot, it's like people will act like they're very interested in like making plans and meeting up. But then when it really comes down to it, they just like want you to rearrange your schedule last minute all the time. And I just like find that really disrespectful because like
Yeah.
we don't know each other like that. Like I'm not gonna like drop everything that I have going on last minute because I want to meet up with you so bad
Yeah.
when you would not do the same if it was me asking you to do that. So
Yeah.
I think like
That's a
that
big
for me
one.
is always kind of like a really big like first indicator that like, hey, this may if he's already like treating me like this and he's supposed to be putting his best foot forward, then this is something that he does regularly and like doesn't
100%.
think is an issue.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue for me personally. So that's like always a big one. And then when somebody isn't curious about me, like, this
Mm.
is our first date. You aren't even fucking curious about me on my first date with you. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you keep a relationship alive in general. Like, no matter how long you've been with somebody, is continuing to be curious about them because people are always changing and you don't always know somebody. Like, there's always things to get to know about somebody. So,
Yeah.
like, if you're not even curious with me on the first date and I'm sitting here having to ask you 21 million questions to keep a conversation going, and you're not even asking me, oh, what about you? It's just me rapid firing questions
Yeah.
because you're not even offering
Like
any other
21 questions. Here
conversation
we go.
outside of yourself. Like, no, I
Yeah.
don't have time for
No,
that.
I think I would walk out in that point. If I think that's an ego thing too, right? Where guys sometimes love talking about themselves and they just want to share everything. And I don't know if it's an insecurity or if it's a cocky thing because maybe they're insecure and they're just like, okay, all of these good things about me, I need to get it out now and share it so that she doesn't run away. Or it's a cocky thing. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Like, I will say, like, I give people the fact that, like, when you're first meeting with somebody, sometimes you get nervous, and sometimes
True.
people like clam up when they get nervous. For me, I grew up with a mom who talks 24/7. So, like, I definitely grew up as kind of like an anxious talker. If I don't feel like the space is being held and like we don't know each other that well, I don't feel that way with like friends or stuff. But
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm first starting to get to know somebody, especially if I've had a drink or two, I can be like chatty, 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 like, like just because I'm nervous. So, but oftentimes it's not just me talking about me, it's trying to have a conversation with somebody where it's maybe not going very smoothly.
Do you feel like you would give that person a second chance and a second date, or are you just like, all right, you weren't curious enough, so we're done?
I think that's like, I think most of the time at this point, I think I used to be more willing to give like second chances or like going out on a second date with somebody. But I think more recently it has felt like when I do give those opportunities, it just ends up being the same situation anyways. There really
Yeah.
hasn't been a lot of situations where I feel like personally like the outcome was better than it really was the last time. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting to the point where it's just kind of like, have shown that it's
The
just gonna
day
be
to
another
come.
waste of time, and I
Yeah.
don't really like wasting my time.
Do you feel like you've ever been in a situationship or dating someone and you feel like you were in it for too long and you should have gone out earlier?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like what is that? I actually was just having a conversation about that with somebody the other day, and the question was, okay, like why did you stay in that situation? And I kept just thinking, I don't know. And sometimes, do you feel like you could just not know, or do you feel like there's always a reason behind why you stick around with someone?
So for me, like the last two people I was with was basically like a situation like this. I think the first one, the first one we initially started out as us not looking for anything.
Hmm.
Like neither of us were. So I think it started out as like a couple months of us just like enjoying each other's time. And then like after time went on, it was like we were really hanging out a lot. And like, he was saying that he wasn't really interested in it being more serious, but then we were kind of like doing things that felt like, it was like a more serious, like we weren't just hooking up anymore at that point, like, but we weren't
Yeah.
serious either. And then I think there was like a situation that happened where like, yeah, whatever, a situation had happened and he kind of like got me closer to like parts of his family. And I was just kind of like, well, for me, that's like not something that I do with somebody I'm just fucking. That's somebody that I like at that point and like have
Yeah.
feelings for. Like, I don't just bring somebody around, family. So I think that was said. And like, I did have feelings. So I was just like, I do have feelings for you. So like, this is a bit confusing for me. And
Yeah.
like, after that, it just kind of was like, I think he realized that it was serious and he kind of like was like, oh shit. Like,
So
I
he
think,
brings you around his family and then thinks, oh shit, maybe that was too serious, but he didn't know bringing you around your family was a little too serious?
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like we were in a situation where he like lived close by. So we had kind of like gone over in that area and we're like over by a lake and stuff. And like he wanted to stop by his parents' house for something, and his grandparents lived right over nearby.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to swing by. But I was like, oh, okay, like I'll wait in the car. Or like, like I'll walk around, I'll wait in the car or something. Because like
Yeah.
for me, I was like, I'm not gonna invite myself in to meet your family because that's
Crossing the
feels like
line.
it's crossing a line for me right
Yeah.
now, and I don't think he would feel comfortable with that. He's like, "Oh, no, no, come meet my parents." And like, I don't even speak great German. So like, this would already be awkward for me even if we were together because this would, like I wasn't planning on meeting any of his family. I don't speak
Right.
the language very well. They're older and they are from East Germany, so like they don't know English very good. So I was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to stay in the car?" Because then it feels weird for me to stay in the car after, somebody's like,
Yeah.
no, no, just come in. It's totally fine. Like, I was like, okay, well, and his
Here we
grandparents were
go.
like so sweet and stuff like that. Like, they were wonderful, seemed to really enjoy company and like having me and Tim there, showing me around their little house and everything. It was super nice. But yeah, it was like, I don't know. So after that, it was just like that. Just like I've once I meet somebody's family, like I'm already like a really soft, emotional. Like I'm a stupid, heartless romantic. I wasn't built for this world, and so for me, it's like once I'm like have that attachment to somebody's family, it's like dunzo. That's not like ever going to be like just like something where I'm just like hooking up anymore. Like I have
Yeah.
feelings, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like that was like a connection for me. So it was like dunzo after that. I was like, well, for me, it's like not ever going to go back to just like a fling. Like,
True. And he didn't want anything else.
no. And I think he just wasn't at a point where he was like ready to have anything serious, which, is totally fine. But it definitely like took a while to get there. And the way that the situation was handled in the end wasn't like the greatest either. It
Yeah.
was kind of like, hey, I know something's wrong. I feel like you need to tell me something because you've been acting weird instead of just like having a conversation about it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we're on really good terms now, me and him, at least. Just like we talked through it, and he definitely was like, yeah, I did not handle the situation well, but yeah, I think sometimes it just evolves into that. It kind of depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Like my one after that, it was I went in, laid all the cards out on the table. Like this is the one where it was like we met up, like great chemistry. Like we were just like hitting it off the back. Like it, felt like we knew each other already. And we're in this conversation, I'm telling him a lot of shit. And I was like, this is what happened in my last situation. Like, I'm not trying to be put in a situation like that. Like, I was really upfront. Like, I'm not trying to be fucked with like that. I'm looking for something serious. I know you can't be like, wow, it's our first date. I'm in
Yeah.
love with you. I don't expect that, right? Like, but I want you to know I'm looking for something serious. So if you are not feeling it, don't continue to fuck
Right.
around with me
Right.
because I just had that happen and it wasn't very nice. And then, yeah, he just kind of like went fall in like messages every single day, like went out on vacation with his friends for 2 weeks overseas, was messaging me every day still, like giving me all the tidbits on his day,
Okay.
and dealt with a crazy situation with me. And he was like, no, it's okay. Just like chill. Like, if we ever have anything in this situation where I'm not into it, like, I'll let you know. You know, I respect you and I'm going to be honest with you. And I was like, we went out and we did so much, like, we did tons of stuff. It was really nice hanging out with him. We were taking like salsa classes and stuff. And
Oh,
yeah, it was like really fun. And I'm not somebody who really lets my walls down very quickly. I don't trust men at all. Like, I don't trust men. I really don't. And so for me, like, that was something where I was like, like I haven't had a situation like I've been fucked around with a lot like the last couple of years. I really haven't had a good dating situation anytime in the last 3 years. So for me, it was like, maybe you should just like stop trying to fight this. Like maybe it's just like something good and you should
yeah.
just
You feel
enjoy
like you were
yourself.
self-sabotaging yourself a little bit?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I was like, "You are being so, like, overthinking everything right now, like, fucking chill."
Yeah.
And then it was like we went to the spa one weekend, everything seemed chill. The next weekend, he's like, "Hey, I think we need to talk." And I'm always like, "Well, I've never had anybody say that to me." Nobody has ever said that, and it's been like, "Wow,
A
that was a
good
great
thing. Yeah.
conversation."
Let's get married.
So I'm like fucking freaking out. I'm like, okay, this seems really weird because like even my girlfriend who's very like very critical of the men in her, friend's life, and she's
Yeah.
gonna give it to you as it is. And she was like, no, he seems like he's really like really into it. Like, and so for me, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not going to be bad. Like, maybe it's going to be like, oh, hey, maybe we should,
Yeah.
like maybe not lock it in, but like, I don't want to be messing around with anybody else right now. And you're not either. So, like, maybe we could, try to ease into something. I was like, maybe it's not going to be bad. Like, maybe it's going to be good. And I'm once again, like, just freaking out. And no, it was just like, hey, I just like don't see this as a romantic thing anymore. Maybe we can stay friends. I was just like,
What
okay.
changed?
No, and this is my thing, and I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and like try to make somebody like me, right? Like that's not.
Right.
I don't play that fucking game. Like if you don't like me, you don't like me. But like, can you give me a reason? Like even constructive. Like, did I do something?
Yeah.
Like what was it? Like, give me some constructive feedback, or at least like something to, get some closure there. Because
Right.
for me, if I'm into somebody and like hang out with somebody that much, and like taking all this time to like do these new things with them and communicate with them regularly, then it's not just going to be one day like I magically am just like, I don't like that person. It's going to be something.
Yeah. There's
That
things
a
that lead
little
up
something
to
I
it.
can put my finger on, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's not crazy of me to think.
No. So did he
And
give you something?
no,
Okay.
and when I really pushed, because I was just like, that's bullshit, I said, I think you're not telling me something. I think you have something that did push you away and you don't want to have a conversation with it because he is somebody that like would want to avoid a conversation that was that emotional. I could totally see
Be
that. Like,
avoidant.
no, 100%. So
Yeah.
that was my first thought is you are avoiding this conversation right now because
Yeah.
you have something to say that you think is going to hurt my feelings and you don't want to deal with the fallout from my hurt feelings. Like, yeah, of course it's going to hurt my feelings. Nobody wants to hear the
But you'd rather know than just
yeah.
sit there and assume things.
Yeah, so I kept pushing, and he was like, "Well, you did call me shots really early on." And I was like, "I'm an American." I say that like as Americans are like so well known for not only just being lovey-dovey, but like pet names. I call everybody baby, sweetie, honey, like what
Yeah.
like so like
Yeah.
for me I'm just saying it in your native tongue, like I'm not realizing how serious that is, which apparently it is very serious. Didn't realize it. But he's like, if I could pick one thing, that would be it. And I said, are you
If that was
fucking
really
kidding
early
me?
on though, and he kept going on after, then clearly that was not the
It
reason.
was. It was very early on, and
Yeah.
nothing was ever said about it. Nothing, nothing.
No. Okay. Yeah, that can't be it. That can't be it.
So yeah, so I definitely feel like I was lied to about it, and he was very adamant that he wanted to stay friends. I said, I feel like everything that you told me was bullshit, honestly. I feel like you love bombed me. I feel like you breadcrumbed me. And all of a sudden it was just like and I said and it was right after the holidays and right after my birthday, and I said, I feel like something happened over the holidays and you don't want to have a fucking conversation with me about it. I said, like, I wasn't meaning like he'd like slept with anybody or anything, but I said, I feel like you had like a conversation or you met somebody and it was somebody that you might have been more interested in, and I feel like you like don't want to tell me that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, no, like, he's just like, I don't really have a reason. Like, I just don't feel like that anymore. And I was just like, I just feel like that's bullshit. Like, like, I'm
100%.
not going to ever like change my opinion on that. Like, I think it's bullshit. So I was just like, I feel like you haven't been genuine this whole time that we've been together. Like, all kind of feels like bullshit right now. All
Yeah.
these nice things you said about like how you actually enjoy my company and you want to be friends with me and stuff. And he's like, no, I do want to be friends with you. And then we like, whatever, we meet up, have a chat about it and didn't really get any resolution there again. And then we took some time not speaking, and then it was just kind of like, hey, do you want to meet up so that we can chat? Like, just do a catch up. If I really do care about him a lot. Like, he is somebody where I mean, like, I don't just hit it off with people like that.
Yeah.
Like, when I said that I wanted to stay friends with him, like, no matter what, like, if we could work it out still and that was comfortable for us, like, I totally meant it. Like, it wasn't just I
Yeah.
don't just say shit to say shit like that. So, like reaching out to do that, like, oh yeah, like I'm really busy the beginning of this month, by the end of the month we can meet up. And then like message him to like meet up and he he literally says like, hey, I took some time to think about it for myself and I don't want to meet up. Wishing you the best.
Oh,
That
not the
that
way
was what
you do
that was
that.
it, Jade. That was it. I didn't even respond.
Okay, I think he met someone.
I 100% no.
Because for
I
sure this
100%
chick
no.
is looking at his messages and like, how are you going to reply to this one?
So yeah.
How long were you guys talking for?
It was not that long. It was like 3.5 months, but still, that's
Yeah.
enough time. And we were spending enough time together. I mean, it was like pretty much every single weekend we were doing something together,
Yeah, that's an
you know?
investment, right?
And then he's messaging me every day, which for me, men don't message me every day when they're not interested in me.
Yeah.
I don't message anybody every day unless somebody is messaging me every day. I
Yeah.
don't even message my mom every day.
Yeah.
So I
Fact.
can't believe I was fucking messaging a man every day. I'll never do that shit again. Like,
Like, next man is now destroyed of getting Atara's attention. But you
God.
talked a little bit about like love bombing and breadcrumbing. Explain breadcrumbing a little bit.
I mean, breadcrumbing is basically like, it's like giving you, for me, the way I think of breadcrumbing is like somebody's like giving me their time. They're giving me these things that feel like real. Like, this isn't something that you're putting the effort into doing for something that you don't have
Yeah.
semi investment in. Like, you're getting these real aspects of a relationship or connection or, emotional, whatever,
Yeah.
emotional safety. Like, and then it's not actually real. It's just kind of this like, I know what I have to do. I mean, let's face it, like this maybe this will be taken the wrong way, but women are easy to fool because men don't really offer much. Like I said, it's the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you get the bare minimum and the crowd goes wild. Like, because men don't give shit. So, like, it's really easy to be fooled, and it's really easy for a man to just give these tiny little pieces of, well, maybe I care, when it's just bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
they know, a lot of them do.
I think,
And a
but
lot of them, even if
you
they
get so
don't,
caught up in it, right?
yeah.
And I mean, I think every single person has been there before where you think somebody's so into you just
Uh-huh.
because they're giving you the bare minimum, you start fantasizing it a little bit and
Yep.
start telling your girls and they're like, "Ooh, wow, a man that texts you every day?" And that's like a shocker, right?
Yeah.
And then
Like
you
somebody
think,
who treats me with respect.
"Yeah,
Oh my
wow."
God. Who would have thought?
And you think it's gonna go somewhere. But when I got asked that question of why did you stay in that situation for as long as you did, even like in relationships, why did you stay as long as you did? I didn't have an answer. Then I think like, is it loneliness? Is it like what is it? Is it because there's slim pickings? I don't know. And I didn't have an answer and I thought about it all night and I still came up with nothing.
I mean, I honestly think it's like a combination of like so many things. And I think it really does like depend on the person a lot. Like for me, I'm somebody who like really craves emotional connection and safety. And I've had partners that I've had long term that I've like lived with and like, like created a life with to some extent.
Yeah.
It wasn't one that we were like building a family or anything or even thinking of doing that. But like sharing a home and a space with somebody is like, a big thing. It
Yeah.
really changes the dynamic of things.
Sure.
And so for me, it was just like, when you actually are having that kind of dynamic with somebody that you do have a good relationship with, it's like a really supportive and beautiful thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I
It's
think
hard to
that's,
get out of it.
yeah. And I think that it's once you kind of like create that safety with somebody, you're like, not only am I gonna lose this person who's like now my friend, like, like they're
Yeah.
my friend, you have this like whole routine in life with them now. I mean, you're losing, this like sense of like personal touch and like safety. And
Extended
it's
family.
hard to leave that. Like, like I think it's in so many relationships. Like you know that it's going to be hard to build that up with somebody again, and it's a hurtful process to go through, like losing somebody.
I mean, you touch on that. We've talked about that before, right? Because you've lost the love of your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why you're getting emotional about this too, right? Because you built such a beautiful connection with him too. And I think, like you said, it's so hard to get that. And once you have that, it's extended family, it's the safety, it's just absolutely everything about that relationship that you lose and that you grieve. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really big part of why people stay in relationships too. It's that comfort piece, like why start that all over again when you know that person inside and out, even though
Mhm.
they might have treated you shitty or maybe they treated you the best, but that's your comfort zone.
No, definitely. And yeah, I think like especially most of us know nowadays that it's just like really hard to date. Dating just it's hard. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. It's like it's hard to expose yourself like that to people again, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough life out there. Definitely slim pickings. And when you get a real conversation, right away you get hooked in and you're like, okay, this might be.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, I think for me, the biggest red flag that I have come across is probably like avoidance or not taking responsibility for actions.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
that is one that really has popped me.
No, and I think that for me is something that is like, how can you have a relationship with somebody if they can't take accountability for anything? Like, already off the bat, not going to be a very healthy relationship,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Have you ever read the book, The Let Them Theory? So I actually just bought it a couple days ago, and I haven't read the whole thing, obviously, but it's this theory of if they show you their true colors, let them. But we're so quick to fix and to be like, hey, the way that you treated me
Mm.
there, I actually didn't appreciate that. Next time, maybe do this. But in reality, we're not letting them show their true colors because we're trying to fix it in that
Yeah.
sense. And this theory is like, okay, if he doesn't want to text you, let him. If your friends don't want to go out to dinner, let them. If he wants to cheat on you, let them. And the whole book is just about how you then take responsibility for how you want to react to the situation and
Yeah.
having him respond in a different way.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it was such a cool theory. Obviously, it's so hard. Like, it's not like you're going to read the book and the next day you're like, fuck it, everyone can screw with me today. It's a theory that you probably have to work on, and it's probably going to take me years because I really care sometimes about what people think. Not everyone,
Yeah.
but in my close-knit circle, I really care. And if I'm dating someone, I also care what you think. And
Hmm.
it's so hard to just be like, let them, but that mindset for me is so attractive.
Yeah.
But I just definitely have not got there yet.
I think it's one of those things too where it kind of like it feels like it depends on the behavior because I do feel like some people you do have like some people show love and affection in such different ways that like I do feel like there have been people where I have had to be like, hey, that's not how I like to be shown like appreciation or love or whatever. And like maybe this might like, make me feel a little bit more seen. But like also I fully agree with what you're saying and what this book is saying because like yeah, I definitely think that sometimes we don't like it's too quick to happen because yeah, if that's just how somebody is, then are you wanting to like be around somebody that's like that in the first place where you're having to consistently asked to be reminded to be invited to stuff or to be
Yeah.
treated a certain way? Like there
Yeah.
is kind of like a certain point where it's like, yeah, you do have to say like fuck this. Like if they want to treat me like that, then like just
That
not giving me any
that's how,
energy.
yeah, that's how they see me, right? So that's how they're treating me. But when you say to a person, hey, that's actually not how I want to be loved, do you feel like they would be open to changing that? Or do you feel like they might change it for a little bit and then go right back to how they were before? Because I feel like people evolve, but they're not going to change for somebody else, right? So,
I mean, I honestly think it really depends on the relationship because I've definitely like, I feel like the closer I am with somebody, and it depends, like, if it's not something I'm comfortable doing or something that I know I can't live up to that expectation of, you know what I mean? If I'm like, I would love to be able to do that for you, but I just like know how it is with me or with my life or whatever, and I
yep.
can't offer you this thing that you're needing. But I definitely think that for me, if it's like, somebody that I would really like to maintain a relationship with, like a healthy relationship with, and one that's going to continue to grow, I think I'm very open about like this person would prefer for me to like buy them a sweet treat that I know that they like on their way back, like on my way to their house and drop it off for them.
Yeah.
Or like, when we meet up, or like some of my friends really like for me to like say nice things to them. So like like for me sometimes it is easy things where it's like, oh yeah, like I can remember, your favorite snack and like bring it to you occasionally if that's
Yeah.
like how you feel like somebody is like showing that they love you or stuff like that. But like, yeah, if somebody's like, I need you to spend like this much time with me all of the time, like, no, I can't ever, like, I'm not somebody for me with my time. Like, I really enjoy my alone time and I
Yeah.
need my
Same.
alone time very much a lot of the time. And, like, I have a hard time sometimes, and depends on how depressed I am and what time of, what
Yeah.
time of the year it is. And,
Yeah.
like, am I trying to go outside? Is it winter? Like, what are you trying to get me to do with you? Like,
Yeah.
there are definitely some things where I could be like, no, like, I love you, but like, I'm never going to be able to live up to that expectation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and set an expectation for myself that I'm not going to live up to, because that's just going to make our relationship worse. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I'm willing to meet you there. And if you're not willing to meet me there, then
Yeah,
what
for
happens
sure.
to our relationship after that can happen. But like, I think that you really have to be like real with people about like, is this if this is something that's really bothering you and it's not that hard for me to change it,
Then it's
like,
fine. Yeah.
yeah, like, why not? Like, I love you, I care about you. That's what you do for people that you love and you care about. But there's
Yeah.
definitely some times where you're like, I have to draw a line. Like, that's just not something I can give. So,
Yeah,
and
you
then
can
it's up to that
compromise
person.
on the
Like,
little things, but you're not going to compromise on your values or the big things. I
yeah,
think that's also why I don't set expectations at the beginning of relationships, because I want to see how you match my expectations. It sounds like such a game, right? But I
no, but
also
it's
don't want to say,
still,
hey, I like A, B, C, D, and then you do that. I fall in love with you. And then now all of a sudden you retract everything because now you have me. So now you're going to your old ways, right?
no, it's definitely like that. Like, is this something that this person is actually okay with changing, or is this something where later it's going to be like, oh, fuck this, I don't need to do this
Yeah.
anymore. Like, we're already here. Like, what's she gonna do? Leave me?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you said before that you don't trust men. Do you feel like you'll ever fully trust somebody enough to have as like a lifetime partner?
Yeah,
Would you want a
totally.
lifetime partner?
I think for me, I'm definitely the type of person where if somebody is giving me that energy, I have a hard time. Like, I do feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character most of the time. And like, I think I'm healthy enough with myself that like, do I have trust issues? Yeah, there's lots of thinking that goes on in the back of my head. But
Yeah.
like, just the fact that I was in that last relationship and did so well at like not allowing that to run me over, because when I was thinking of it later, I was like, was I missing stuff? And I'm sitting there going through it with multiple people at that point because I'm like, am I fucking crazy? Because like normally
Yeah.
I am like a shark with like a drop of blood in the water, and one weird thing happens. It doesn't even have to be weird sometimes, and I'm like, oh, this one little thing, like the tone was off or like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm
you
like
can gauge it.
jumping on it and over analyzing it for like 12 hours in the middle of the night. And, I was like, did I just like completely let this one like blow over my head? Because I was just like wanting connection so bad at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm going through it, and my mom, like my best friend, like a couple of other my friends, and I'm like, no, dude, like there was like no signs here. It was like a fucking full pivot. And I was like, okay, so like this is not just me, you feel like. And they were like, if I was in your situation, I would have felt blindsided. Like, okay. So like for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna let this one man's shitty behavior and like disrespect of me and my time and like wishy-washy feelings like keep me from being in a good relationship with somebody who actually isn't like that. Like for me, if somebody is going to give me like say the right things, give me
Yeah.
the right feelings,
Yeah.
like not like, and I feel like it's genuine, then yeah, I'm gonna go along with it because I'm not stupid for going along with it. Like somebody else is stupid for manipulating somebody so much that they think they're in a position that they can. So,
Very true.
like,
Relationships are so hard. I think that's like the bottom line of all of it is when you get into one, you just overthink. And I definitely overanalyze a lot of things too. And sometimes I overanalyze things too early. You just,
Definitely.
I have so many friends like that too, that they make so many memes about us too, about us women, where you'll see a meme online and you're just like, you just met someone, and then you send their picture to the friends, and the friends are like, oh, who's this? You're like, this is Bobby. I loved my first date with him, blah, blah. And then next week it's like, no, Bobby's gone. It's Henrik, or like, I don't know. And it's just, you go through it so quick because I
Mhm.
think it's an instant attraction maybe that gets you excited about something. And then I feel like men don't get that. I don't think men are DMing other dudes and be like, look at the chick I'm talking to, you know?
Not
It's
unless she's out of his league, and then it's to brag.
or
It's not, you know what I mean? And then it's to brag. It's not because they're actually excited about the relationship
yeah.
aspect of it. It's like catching a big fish and like
Yeah.
showing your friends. Like that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is
true.
like the equivalent is.
That's very true. And
Like
women
your
do it
deer
so
head on
awkward.
it.
So awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
They're
like,
like, oh my gosh, somebody might finally see me as a person.
yeah, like I'm gonna marry him, I'm sure. And then the next week you're like, no, dashed him. Next. I see so many memes about that, and I'm like, that's actually hilarious because I feel like that happens to every female and their group chats. You just see them
Yes.
swiping through, you're like, oh yeah, that's nice. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna end this with a little bit of would you rather,
Oh
and then
God.
you have to explain yourself a little bit too.
God.
So, would you rather make a movie about your most embarrassing moment or publish your diary?
I don't keep a diary, so I
Ah,
feel like
okay,
this one's
that's
a
easy
very
then.
fair one. I
Okay,
mean,
well, if you
honestly,
had to keep a diary of all your shit every single day, which are you
Jade,
publishing that or your most embarrassing moment in a movie?
Jade, you've seen my social media. I have no shame.
Yeah, you're right.
If you go back all the way through my Instagram posts, it basically, I have posted my diary already. So would I
Have you?
rather? I'll post my diary because it's been done.
Yeah. And okay, what is your most embarrassing memory though?
My
And I
most
mean, if you have no shame, that's a tough question for you too, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite embarrassing memories, and I think it was just so embarrassing because I was in high school, so I was just like so worried about like what everybody was thinking. Like I was just
Yeah.
very easy to embarrass. Like now I definitely don't have shame and like to embarrass myself, I'd really have to do some stupid shit. Um, when I was in high school, I was on dance team and I wore like clip-in extensions because I like
Oh
straighten my
no.
hair. Well, I had like really long hair, but I used the clip-in extensions when I was in dance to like help give me like volume and stuff. And we were like doing a hip hop dance and I were wearing like baggy pants and stuff and I like flipped my hair up and my hair fell down on the ground. Like I like dropped it down and like put it in my pants. Like when I got done, I don't think anybody like even really realized what had happened. And I was out in the hallway and I'm like bawling. Get off and everything, and the adrenaline hits. And I'm like, everybody just saw me lose my hair and stuff it in my pants. But I don't think actually anybody saw me. Only a couple of my dancers.
Oh my God. I mean, it's better than a wig falling off, right? And that would be super noticeable.
Yeah.
I saw that on Sports Center the other day that a girl in, I don't even remember, I think it was college, she was actually wearing a wig for a game and then got pulled down from a rebound and the whole wig was just on the floor.
No.
I'm like, that's an embarrassing moment that you're fully putting on makeup and a wig for a basketball game.
Yeah, no, anything with your hair getting pulled or you're not your hair, I guess. Whether you're a man or a woman, nobody wants their hair askew, misplaced, blown away.
I mean, just to end it for one more, I'm just curious, what's your biggest turn off?
Oh, I feel like I have a lot of turnoffs, so this one is actually like really
I feel
hard
like you
to.
also have a list of icks.
I have a big list of aches.
Yeah, I bet.
I think one of my biggest ones is like somebody who has a big ego, like somebody who thinks he is the shit. There's nothing worse than a man who's gonna give me like, big dick energy in that like negative way. You're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
big dick,
Yeah.
like asshole for real. So like it's he's like men are like I said, I already have trust issues with men. So like if a man's gonna come up and give me that like I'm better than you or like I'm such a cool motherfucker energy like that, like
Yeah.
you're already gonna be causing some drama that I don't need in my life.
Right.
Take a 1 million steps back, please. Like nothing good is gonna come from you being over here. I think that's definitely one of my biggest icks.
Yeah.
Don't have a big head, fellas. At least not that one.
Don't
Other
come
one
to
is
us with your
fine.
big dick energy.
One big head is fine. The other one,
Yeah. Choose the right one. Yeah, I think that's definitely one of my big ones too, is the ego piece, because I really can't deal with that. Because it just comes across so cocky. And then how do you bring that home to your parents?
Nah.
Like, what if he makes cocky ass comments and your dad's sitting there like, he ain't even all that, you know?
I've never met a man that has that type of energy who was not just a big prick. Like,
Yeah.
I've never had anything positive to say about men that have that. I
Yeah.
will say sometimes when you first meet somebody, they can come off as having that energy, but like when you actually get, or not, I mean, even that's questionable because normally it's not like that much of it, you know? But sometimes I have met some guys where I was like, initially I was like, I feel like you're kind of cocky, and I'm
Not
not
into
about
that.
that, but they like were friends of a friend or something, and so they came around multiple times, and like once I
Okay.
actually talked with them, I was like, still not somebody I would date, but like you're not as big of an asshole as I
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
expected you to be. But yeah, it normally does not go over well.
It's hard. It's all I want is someone that can communicate, you know, someone that'll have deep conversations, be my best friend. And I feel like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you stick around with people that you might stay in situations for too long that don't want to commit, and it's comfortable for some weird reason. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't know why.
Jade, when was the last time you stuck around in a relationship that you didn't want to be in?
I mean, not, I wouldn't say relationship. Like my ex from college, I definitely stuck in that one for too long. And I think
Mhm.
that was a comfortable one, you know, because we'd been living together for 5 years and it
Yeah.
was just a comfort piece. And, you know, we had a lot of fun together, but we definitely weren't going to be end game. And I think we both knew that. I mean, we did know that. That's why we ended
Yeah.
up not being together. But I've definitely stayed in situations before where I don't know what I was doing. I definitely should have gotten out of it. And there's probably multiple times where I told my girls, like, yeah, I'm gonna go over there and end it, or I don't even know if you're supposed to end the situation, you know, or if you're just having fun together. But
Yeah.
then you end up just, you know, falling in old habits and just leaving and be like, whatever, it'll phase out. And then
It
it never
does pay
does.
off.
And then you're just still there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think too many times. And when that question, like I said, when that question was asked to me, I was like, oh my God, I actually really have to think about why I stayed. And it's
Hmm.
not insecurity or it's not, maybe it just is being comfortable. And you said that before too, when you're sharing your energy and your time with someone, it's
Hmm.
hard to then go, like, I can't date multiple people at once.
Me
I definitely
neither.
can't do that. So
Mm-mm.
it's like you're getting my time and my effort and then it's hard to just get out of that because I've already put my effort and time into you. So
Yeah.
let's try to figure it out.
But yeah, I definitely think that if you're somebody who is more keen on like dating around with other people, this probably is like not quite as much of an issue. But I'm the
Yeah.
same way. I really don't like to be dating multiple. I just don't have that much energy to be spreading around out there. Your girl's tired. Life is hard. We gotta be really mindful of where we spread all of this energy. Okay.
One of my friends, she said she was talking to four people on Hinge. And so, I mean, she matched four guys, which
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
really sound crazy because people probably match hundreds and have hundreds in their list. I don't know. But she said she was talking, just messaging with four guys. And she had messaged one of them saying, how was your dinner with your family tonight or something? And then he replied with, my parents are dead. She was like the wrong person.
Oh, the other one.
So how are you gonna mix that up? And that's like the worst mix up she could have ever had was you're talking to the one person that's an orphan about his parents.
It's pretty fucked.
Oh God. So yeah, I think that's too
Well, I
much
mean,
baggage.
Hinge does only let you match or have chats with 8 people at once because they
Oh.
understand how crazy it is to be having 100 matches all at once. So Hinge is actually really nice about that. But yeah, I think it's just like yeah, like you said, trying to keep the facts straight. Number one, do I care about any of these four men to give enough of a fuck to keep the facts
Yeah.
straight? Because that's a lot of trying to figure out the facts.
Yeah, true.
Got to start taking notes at that point. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like the roster, like get some
Did you
notes
see that
down.
show with Drew? I think it was Drew Barrymore, where she said, "Yeah, I'm on Hinge, I'm on Tinder, Bumble, blah blah." And then the host goes, "What the fuck are all these apps?" And they should just put it in one app and call it "What's Left." And I died. I was like, "Just these are the only ones left here. Just pick from those, and you're done."
That's really funny, actually.
So that's where we leave it, Tara. Thank you so much for joining us and your
Of course.
vulnerability and your openness about red flags. Thanks for coming to Post Game Gossip, and we'll see you next time.